This video is for my friend Tim, who comes from a land down under. Shrimp on the Barbie, good day mate, we're walking. So he's been having a rough time at work lately, so I suggested that the best solution is, of course, plastic robot toys. The one that he is most interested in is the VF-11B from Macross Plus. So I'm just going to do a quick little video for him to kind of show him all the features of the toy, because it's, again, a really cool toy. First up, let's talk about the cockpit here. So because of this was released as the VF-11C from Macross 7, it does have the little pull-out cockpit pod thing, which, I always think it looks like a little bumper car, it's like no. But let's go get Osamo here, because I left him inside a Thundercracker here, and hey, scale party! Never mind. So let's pop this up and grab tiny itty bitty Osamo Dyson, or any other schmuck piloting a VF-11. Yeah, pretty cool. The VF-11B type actually does have the shiny rainbow coating on the canopy. The later VF-11C does not have the rainbow coating, but kind of looks nice. So all you do is you just stick that thing back in there. Oh, but when you get it, it actually does have a couple of tiny pieces of foam inside there just to keep it in place during shipping, which is what you just take those out before you start playing with it. Okay. Pretty much stays in there even though it just slots in. So, like most of these toys, it rolls. That's cool. The wings move and they look awesome. Looks pretty cool from the front profile. And you can just flip it over. And of course there's the gun, like all good Valkyrie toys, and of course stowable landing gear. You just rotate the wheels so they're facing towards the front and pop them down. And flip down the things. Oh, and let's work on that front one. This goes in pretty simple. 3 doors. No problems. Looks pretty good, the gun gets sandwiched right in between the arms like in most Valkyries. And of course it's got the shield, which exists just to cover up the arms in fighter mode. Actually, if you look on old illustrations of the VF-1 before it had the backpack it has in the final version, it didn't have the backpack to cover up the arms, so instead you had the tail fins on the legs, just like the VF-11, and there was no shield so you could see the arms. So he kind of, Kawamori revisited that idea and just decided, it's like, hey, put a shield there and they can cover the arms without having to have the backpack like the VF-1. Okay, so let's do the important thing, which is transforming it. So what you do is you just go here and you can disengage just a couple of tabs in the forearms that would just hold the whole thing together. And then there's some tabs here. You just pop them down. And here we go. And then you just take the tail fins, slide them up, and then push them down. And there we go. Let's bring up the leg. Only goes about this far. Don't try to force it any farther. Some people are doing that with some of their Valkyries, and it's not a good thing. Also, you can pull the whole knee joint out, and then it allows the leg to swing forward even more. So that's pretty cool. And just pop the shield off. It just has a couple of tabs right here that go into these slots on the top here. And of course the gun comes out because it's just held in by the fact that the arms are sandwiched in between there. Okay, so bring this up a little bit. And we're going to go to GERWALK mode. So what you have to do for this mode is that there's this little cutout here. You just push that down. And the reason for that is that when you bring the arms around, you just flip up these panels on the side here. You know, these are just gonna untab from the front here, and then they just come all the way around on this double joint here. Let's do one on this side, and try not to whack something on camera. And here we go. Oh, actually, it's a good idea to bring this whole mechanism up here when you do GERWALK mode. Funny that, because I just want to show you. When you bring the whole back part here up, you see there's some tabs up in the intake, sort of the thigh area, that go into these slots here, and there actually are those switches in here. That's for the details in Battroid mode. Make sure these are fully forward when you bring these tabs back in there, because you might get it so that they don't quite go in unless you push them all the way forward, and they will snap in. So a cool thing is that it actually has these little panels that you just hit the switch on the side, bring them forward, and they will actually lock in if you get them aligned properly. They do actually lock into the... Yeah, see, locks right in there. Covers the little gap that you leave from transforming it. So, yeah. Keeps these back booster things here nice and secure. Let's bring the arms down. Bring out the feet. Just bring them out all the way for GERWALK mode. And just kind of flip the toe forward. Okay. And here we go. You might have to just kind of balance it a little bit. Get that proper GERWALK stance, and you just pop the shield. Oops. Yeah. That's a simple swivel joint, so if it's loose you can tighten it very easily. And pop up the... Oh no, don't do this. Don't do this. Oh no. Oh. Well, you're behaving so well for me most of the time. So yeah, that's you probably saw that. That's how you get the hands out. And here's the gun pod. Looks pretty cool, nice and nasty like it does in the OVA itself. Let's get that auto zoom there. There we go. And of course, because when you live in a world with giants, you obviously need a giant anti-armor bayonet on your gun. And also the top cover, which is actually the magazine, if you flip through really fast, does come off, and you can see they did do some detailing underneath for the Gatling gun within. And you'll see there's actually a little hole in here, and there's just a tab in the palm. You just fit that in there. That just helps keep the whole thing in. Probably should be doing this so that you can actually see it, but I'm far too lazy. Yeah, so you just get that thing in there, and it closes around, and there you go. A robot with a gun. Pretty basic. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna take the whole hand off just to keep the hand in the gun, but it just pops in there on the tag joint. So we're gonna get to doing Battroid mode, which is very quick and pretty easy, mostly straightforward. Especially compared to some Valkyries. Oh, and yeah, this little panel will sometimes pop off the arm, but it just pops back on. This thing right here. Geez, I'm doing a really good job selling this toy, huh? So you just bring these things back, and then you have to actually have to bring the whole arm all the way back for this mode, and then just flip that little thing back up, and then put the whole thing like this. And probably discard the shield, because that's just going to get in the way of transforming it. I swear this is always much more difficult to do on camera than it is to just do it by yourself or in front of somebody. Okay, so we've got this. We're gonna just kind of bring this whole thing up, and to do that kind of characteristic folding nose section here. So what you do to get the canopy cover out is you can kind of see that, yeah, the thing's sitting right there. So what happens is you just see this little switch on the bottom, you pull this up to about here, not quite all the way, and so that brings lets the whole cockpit area just retract. And from the back here you just take this, the back part of the canopy cover, and it's on this double joint here that just feeds through. Now the only difficult thing with this is to get the bottom part to come up, because it actually does lock in place. And so what you do is just kind of, usually helps if you just kind of whack it, or if you can get your finger in there, that helps too. But I find if it's difficult to get it out, you just kind of fiddle with the switch underneath the nose cone, and then it'll come out. And then what you can do is simply just, actually, and get that part out of the way now. So what you do is you want to hold the tab or the switch or whatever, hold it back with this hand, and then just bring it down, and this whole thing will snap in place. And now I see it doesn't actually move even though I push it back in. I mean, when you push it far enough, it will obviously go back in, but right now it's locked in place and won't fall down. A lot of people had issues with this at first. They didn't know that it locked in place, and they were upset. So yeah, just bring this whole thing down, and just bring the whole thing up. So I'm just going to mess around underneath here. So there's a couple of panels on the side here. You see that? You just bring those up. Bring those up, and with these switches underneath here, you just take your finger and bring them both up. Alright, and we're just going to finish this off. What you do is you take this back panel here, and it just clips in there and holds the whole thing together. Flip the head around, and I noticed that the head cannon, the laser cannon, is actually on a track that it can move forward a little bit, and you just bring it forward, and now it's in the proper position. I never noticed this at first when I got both of these toys. It's kind of interesting. Okay, and just straighten out the feet. Make sure this guy doesn't want to fall backwards. Okay. There we go, and we'll just bring down the wings and put his gun back on. His gun and his hand. So here we go. And just to show you, those little switches, they bring up this thing right here to kind of give it the full proper shoulder look for the Battroid mode. So yeah, here we go. This is the VF-11B Thunderbolt 3 Manchester 4, I don't know. Yeah. From Macross Plus. Very nice, very sturdy toy. One thing that about the, oh look, I actually put that panel on backwards. Funny that. Well, this is really good. It's oh, of course, now there it goes. Let's put that panel on back the way it's supposed to go. Okay. Boy, this is funny. Yeah, there it goes. So yeah. Okay. Bring the fuck. Ah. Yeah, it doesn't want to cooperate on camera. They never do. None of them ever do. Pisses me off. Yeah, the feet and the ankles also go in and out, so. Okay. There we go. Let's get that thing, let's get, back to that nice pose we had there. Holding the gun, looking pretty cool. And of course it does come with the different booster packs. These are cool because they actually have magnets on the bottom here, and they'll fit together themselves. Don't bring this near your computer, obviously. Oh, these are pretty weak magnets, but what you do is that on each leg, and you can do this in fighter mode, of course, and all the other modes, is there's just a little tab right here and a slot right down here, and you just fit it on, goes on by itself, and then you just kind of wiggle it till the slot in the tab lines up. Let's do it again on this side, and there it goes. Now it's properly aligned. And of course you do get the backpack boosters, which look basically how they should. The only thing that they don't have is that for the transformation you have to take these off, because in Macross 7 they actually show that they can actually move backwards a little bit to give some clearance for the transformation, but yeah. This toy does not have it. It's not a huge deal, I don't think. You just take them off, put them back on. The way it works, as you can see, this tab is a little more hooked on this end here, and this one's a bit more smooth, and you just kind of stick it in, and then it pops in. Same on this side, stick it in, pops in. So yeah, there we go. VF-11, and as I was saying before, this toy really benefits from kind of the simple design of the VF-11 because it's got very good articulation really for a Macross toy. Probably more than VF-1 normally does, and definitely on par with the new VF-19s that I reviewed. I mean, you've got basically, you know, the full bicep swivel, you know, some elbows, a nice joint here that goes all the way up and around, shoulder swivel, an actual joint here on the just below the main shoulder joint too. For the transformation, it does have this little kind of wiggle joint here in the elbow too. Articulated wrists, articulated hands. Again, I'd like to have fixed posed hands because, you know, it's just the same whole peg and hole system that the VF-1s had, and they had fixed posed hands that looked nicer than the. I mean, these don't look bad, but you know, they're not super hot. But you know, they do hold the gun, so that's really all that matters. And below the waist, it does have interesting little like pull-out joint that kind of goes in and then comes out a little bit, which is where the ball joint is mounted. So yeah, you know, articulation in the knees. You know, the leg swivel, articulated knee cover. Doesn't have the problem most VF-1s have is that you have to kind of angle the wings back to give the intake / thigh area some clearance. So you know, this guy can just kind of move his legs perfectly fine without them, and then you can kind of get him into limp-wristed Han Solo firing pose if you want. So looks really cool. I definitely like this toy. I was very much convinced by Prometheum 5's review of it and all the love that I was getting on the Japanese websites. Because really, I wanted this guy, Mr. Whitey, but he kept getting delayed for a while, so I was like, you know, I'll get this one too. So now I have both, and I enjoy both of them greatly. So this is just a supplementary review that may or may not actually go on CollectionDX. We will see.